Libra, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid June 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Libra collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Libras in early to mid June? It is Gemini season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you could lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for the lovely Libra collective in early to mid June. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's have a little bit of fun here. My gods, talk to me. Cool. And it sends me one of the cards that I really enjoy looking at because I feel like the imagery of it is nonsensical, but the energy that it contains is actually pretty cool. I mean, as we look at a monkey that's dressed up as Shakespeare. But to me, it reminds me of the Ace of Swords, believe it or not. When I think of the energy that this card encapsulates, it's just very sharp. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about this card. So once again, we have this monkey here dressed up as Shakespeare, has the skull contemplating its life, sitting on a stack of books, typewriter. We got binary code and equations all over the place. So to me, it's like a brainiac, right? Like when I see it, I think of intelligence. I think of someone that's like really smart, really sharp. They're on top of their stuff. Now, for some Libras, this could just represent learning new things, learning information, trying to memorize stuff. So you might have a certain thirst for knowledge when this card is here. Now is a great time to pack stuff up in your brain when this card is here. But again, it's also shrewd, and it's not leading with its heart, it's leading with logic. So for some of you, even if you're normally a more emotional type of individual, this energy is leading with its logical side, which can be great. When I see this card, I also think of Ace of Swords. I already mentioned that, where it's honest, straightforward, to the point, and shrewd. However, with all that stuff, sometimes you could be a little too logical, right? And when I see a card like this and like the Ace of Swords, it doesn't leave much room for the emotional side, the cups, right? So in this time, like maybe Spirit doesn't want you to oversimplify something or put it in a box, if that makes sense. Where it's like, yeah, you could categorize things, but don't just write everything off. I don't know why I'm going on that tangent, but we're just going to put the really smart monkey down. He could chill out right there. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time for the lovely Libras. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So we did have tower-like energy last week. The reading was titled Shocking Action Incoming. Now, could that have been your action? Could it have been someone else's? Very possible. Like to me, it felt like act first, ask questions later. And there was a little bit of a warning about impulse, being a little too risky. So if that wasn't a major theme in the past week, just keep an eye on that over the coming weeks because energy could bleed over. It did feel very risky, where it's like, screw it, I'm just going to do it. So we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you because we're looking at your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for the lovely Libras. What do we got in early to mid June? 4 Pentacles. Okay. I mean, that energy is a little clunky. Now, normally I like an action card in the first spot. And we got the 4 Pentacles, which is not that whatsoever. So we're going to get him placed there. Maybe the Amethyst will help chill him out. I'm not sure if you guys could hear. There's like a wild storm going on outside. Big thunderstorm. So it's kind of setting a nice vibe for us here. Okay, so we got the 6 of Wands. Beautiful. Now that's a pretty good energy, but where's it coming from? That's my question, right? Because we have this 4 of Pentacles that doesn't seem to be doing much. Then we got the 6 of Wands. It's like, where's this coming from? Let's get one more, and we'll start piecing it together. A lot of outside energy here. Okay, cautious, skeptical. So we have the 9 of Wands. And when we look at both of these Wands cards, look at all the the walls that are built. Let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements because I feel like that frames the reading and tells us how the energy is flowing. And we have a mixture of fire and earth. Now, fire actually works very well with Libra. You're an air sign, so fire and air normally feed off of each other. So this is a very comfortable element for you. But I always say when it comes to the fire, that's the realm of action, similar to what we were seeing last week. So whether it's the actions you take, the actions other people take, the actions that we want to take, the actions we decide not to take, all of it can be in play. When I see wands and fire, I think of vitality, energy levels, whether you're feeling a little high or feeling a little low. I think of health and wellness. Aside from those themes and archetypes, the thing to always watch out for with the wands and fire is that it could sometimes take a left on you. So there is this volatile, explosive quality where something could be going this way and then boom, take a turn. So we want to keep an eye on that. And then we have earth right here on the front, much more predictable, much more solid, stable. I would say earth to me represents results. Earth represents routine, day-to-day life, things that you do from day to day. It's like a strict regimented schedule. Earth can represent money, work, business, finance. So if you're in work, pentacle mode, or got career things going on, Earth is it, right? It could be home and family as well. The downside to the Earth is that it could sometimes feel stuck. It could sometimes feel like it's not doing anything or it's not making progress. The thing that these two share in common is that earth and fire represent outside influences, whereas like cups and swords, that's all internal, right? Swords are your logical mind, cups are your heart. This is all outside influence. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with the Four of Pentacles, and as I mentioned, I normally like to start with an action card. This card isn't really doing much, right? We have this person there clamped onto the pentacle, just sitting there, just chilling. Now, to me, I always say this is a neutral card to me. Some people don't see it as really much of a positive, but to me, it's kind of straight down the middle. Whereas if we're looking at work, career, money, business, finance, investments, this is actually a fantastic card. This card is really, really great for stacking those pentacles, growing those things, growing your stability, planning for, eventualities and things still yet to come. So there are some great positives to this, and it is great for money. Now, the downside to the Four of Pentacles is when we start talking about the emotional aspects of it, right? Because this card is holding on to something. So whether it's something that happened years ago that you're still holding on to, if we're talking about how somebody's acting, it's very closed off, it's very private, thou shalt not enter type of energy. So there could be certain things, blockages when this card is here. Worst case scenario, sometimes it could be very grudgy. Sometimes it could represent someone that's angry, mad, or upset. So we do want to look into it further. But I would say for the most part, the energy doesn't seem to be doing much outside of the ordinary. So I would also watch out for things like boredom. That could be another thing for some Libras. Make sure you're doing things that you enjoy doing. Moving to the middle, we have a beautiful energy that just seems to come out of nowhere, right? We have the Six of Wands, whereas this one's like secluded, quiet, off doing its own thing. The Six of Wands is complete and total victory. Look, it's getting all this attention, all the eyes are on this. This is a great card for like recognition, kudos for things that you've done, where people appreciate you, right? Like, because this person is on a parade getting that recognition. So I love this card. It is a complete and total victory, that's for sure. So there could be some really great energy here, especially with work, money, finance, with the combination of the two. It is a card of confidence where it's like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like I'm on top, and there's nothing wrong with that. The only downside to the Six of Wands is that sometimes it could be an energy that's a little too confident. And I always say that there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and this card can walk that. Not saying any of you are doing that. I'm just saying, so if you have dealings with anyone that's a little too egotistical, this card could absolutely be that. And this is also one of my cards of like being observed or being watched. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Moving to the back end, we have the Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior. And the Nine of Wands does show up in a very similar theme to the Four of Pentacles, that's for sure. You see this person, they got the bandage on their head, they have erected a wall, and they're not letting anybody in, right? So again, with the blockage type of vibe or the problem or issue, we'll see when we get into the detail. In the good sense, this Nine of Wands is very protective. It's someone that's territorial, skeptical. This is wisdom through experience, where it's like, I've been through some things, I've seen a lot of things. Oh, I've seen that before. This card embodies that type of vibe. But in its roughest sense, if it's not just someone being cautious or being protective, this energy can reject things, whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, whether it's a habit. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. The Nine of Wands is like, nope, you shall not enter. And then when we combine the Four of Pentacles on the front, it's an energy that's pushing something away. So we want to take a close look at this, that's for sure. Aside from the rejections, it could represent communication issues, blockages, problems, situations. But you see what I mean? It's like we have all this protective energy on the outside, but this victorious energy comes in. So I feel like there's a silver lining. I want to dive deeper on all of it, Libra. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for the lovely Libras. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Four of Pentacles there. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Libra, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is that Four of Pentacles here? Quick, super quick. Yeah, hitting the pause button, potentially. So we have the Knight of Swords in reverse underneath this Four of Pentacles. Now, either this is something that just never fully got off the ground properly, or it's just something where it's like, I'm pausing this. Or it's like, I'm taking a rest, taking a break. Now, for some of you, if you're planning on going on vacation or something like that, hey, maybe this is a really good thing. Maybe Spirit's like, hey, maybe you do need time to slow it down and smell the roses. Everyone needs that from time to time. But the Knight of Swords being your power card is usually fast, moving quick. It's the total opposite of this Four of Pentacles. So it's just rocking and rolling, very determined to push through on something. When it's in reverse, full stop. Full stop. So again, with the Four of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords in reverse, watch out for situations where it feels like you're not making progress. Watch out for those things where it feels like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. Where do I go from here? Watch out for the boredom, all those things. So in the good sense, this energy could be hitting the pause button, slowing down to smell the roses, resting and recuperating. But this energy could also be very problematic, depending. Because to me, it feels like it could be a barrier. Now, we do still have good energy coming through. I like it. We're going to keep moving. We're going to see what the Six of Wands has. Because could it potentially be a breakthrough of some kind? Maybe. It's a wind-based energy in the center, unless something shows us different, right? So why is that Six of Wands there? Okay. I mean, so we have the Emperor in the upright underneath this Six of Wands, and this energy looks totally fine, totally cool. So I'm not sure if this is like the same person, right? Like where like on the inside, this is what's going on, but on the outside, everything's fine. But I think this could be good. I do feel like it's a silver lining. Now, the Emperor, if you're not connected to an Aries, represents authority figures, right? He's the king of kings, calls the shots. I do this, 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 and this. So there is like this energy where it's like, okay, even though I'm here, I'm going to plan my way out of this. There is something here about strategy and planning happening. And I think I've seen that in the other air signs. And let's go back to this card we had in the very beginning. Remember how I was saying it's like very sharp and smart and analytical and intelligent. So it's like, even if there is a problem, or even if there is this energy that feels stuck in a rut, this energy here in the center finds like a new and creative way to attain a victory. So it's like we do have the planning energy, which feels really great. Now is a great time for recognition when I have this in the center. So whether it's like things like promotions or thank yous, the kudos, all that stuff, because the Six of Wands with the Emperor is like I'm being recognized for the work I've done. It is a big energy here of getting attention, right? Because remember, we have the King of Kings right there on his throne. Then we have the Six of Wands. There's like this attention, unless you're not feeling like receiving it. That's possible too if you're not feeling very peoply. So the energy overall in the center looks fantastic. So like the only downside would be is if someone is showing this, right? The Six of Wands Emperor, I'm cool, I got it under control. But on the inside, they're feeling like they're not moving forward for whatever reason. It feels like I'm treading water, if that makes sense. We're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving and see what the Nine of Wands has. So there's a silver lining here. I would just say watch out for boredom and frustrations and stuff like that, because I know Libras are human, just like everyone else. Usually you beautiful Libras have a nice balance to you and how you approach things, but we can all feel this way from time to time. or unless this is somebody else you're connected to. Let's go in with the Nine of Wands. We'll see what he has. So why is the Nine of Wands here? Okay. Okay. Another one of your power cards. This is an energy that's like playing it safe. I don't want to say like better safe than sorry, but we have the Page of Swords. What is all this observation going on? So yeah, the Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior. Remember what I was saying about him? Sometimes he can reject things, but he's also very territorial, very cautious, very skeptical. Then we have the Page of Swords, very cautious, very defensive, very skeptical, keeping its eye on something. We have all this attention in the center, and it's like I'm keeping locked on this thing, this situation, this problem. Now, again, I feel like whatever it is that some of you may be experiencing or going through, there is a smart, strategic, plan based way to do an end around, if that makes sense. But the Page of Swords, as with all pages, represents communication, conversations, messages, but it's also new. It's fresh and it's putting new eyes on something. So for some Libras, you might be taking certain trips down memory lane and say, let me reanalyze this. Let me rethink about this. Let me reconsider. That's what I'm picking up here on the back end, mostly in an intuitive sense, is like I'm reconsidering something. Okay, but for the most part, there is planning, there's watching, there's all sorts of caution going on here. So for some of you, maybe you are playing it safe, or maybe someone isn't and you are, and it's like that's the balance. Or like these energies are just like completely closed off. This one is just wide open and looks totally cool. But let's go through and do a quick recap. So a lot of different layers here. I don't necessarily feel like it's bad because there is great energetic potential. But if you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the Four of Pentacles, Knight of Swords in reverse. Now, could this be a situation or problem? Yeah, it could be if you're feeling stuck between a rock and a hard place or feel like you're not making much progress. If you feel like you're treading water in some kind of way, this energy could be very frustrating. So watch out for frustration and boredom, monotony, stuff like that. In the good sense, this could be an energy that's taking a pause, taking a break, and recuperating, which is good. In the center, we have the Six of Wands with the Emperor in the upright. That energy looks perfectly fine. So it could be the same person where it's like, yeah, no, everything's great, everything's fine. But on the inside, all that's going on. That's very possible. But I love this energy in the center. To me, it does feel like I'm creatively planning something. So again, I'm not saying it's you. It could be someone you're connected to where it's like, okay, things like look like this, but how can I do this? How can I get around that? It just feels very strategic to me. So maybe that's advice for some of you, like get creative, or maybe it's somebody else. Moving to the back end, we have an abundance of cautionary energy. We have the Nine of Wands with the Page of Swords. So again, we have a lot of observation, a lot of watching. So could there be something that Spirit wants you to keep your eyes on? Absolutely. But there is also this energy that's just being very, very cautious. So the energies seem to balance each other out, where it's like this energy is like completely closed off and cautious. This one is just wide open and they seem to find a balance. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing. So get your one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this going here. What do we got for the lovely Libras? What do we got for the lovely Libras as the thunder is rolling outside? All right, we have the Nine of Pentacles, and it does reinforce some of the frustrations I was picking up here in the front. Now, the good thing about the Nine of Pentacles, it is predictable. It is safe, solid, stable, sturdy. This is one of my cards of independence, and it's also one of my cards of like, things are good, but they could be better. So watch out for energies or feelings like that. And I mean, there's always room for improvement, but this energy is like, yeah, things are okay, things are good, but they could be much better. That's something I always get with this card, even in its positive sense, even though it's abundant and solid. But the downside of the Nine of Pentacles could be feeling stuck, feeling like it's Groundhog's Day, where it's like every day is the same or everything is too predictable. Watch out for boredom and stuff like that. Because with the risky energy I was picking up last week and the overly cautious energy I'm picking up this week, um, that's something to be aware of, right? Because like this energy here, it gets bored to a point where it has to do something, if that makes sense. But in the good sense, it could be solid and stable. Things are good, but they could be better. But watch out for that feeling stuck type of vibe. We're just going to put it down right there, Libra. That's what I got for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice. The winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.